Hey everyone, welcome back. And this is Spoken by Reddit, is an YouTube channel dedicated to sharing real, anonymous Reddit stories. And now, we'll continue with some more gripping Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. The post is titled, "My crying 4-year-old wasn't upset about me being late, it was something else." Part 1. The night I came home late. I thought I was a bad parent for coming home late that night. Traffic was brutal. My phone was dead. I rehearsed my apology the whole drive. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. Daddy, Mommy is late again." But the moment I opened the door, something felt wrong. The house was too quiet. Not peaceful, heavy. Then I heard it, crying. My 4-year-old daughter. She wasn't screaming. She was sobbing, quietly, like she was afraid to be heard. Part 2. Something was very wrong. I ran to her room. She was sitting on the bed, clutching her stuffed bear. Her face was red, eyes swollen. "Hey, what happened?" I asked softly. She looked at me, then looked away. That broke me. "Did I scare you by being late?" She shook her head, slowly. "Then why are you crying, baby?" She whispered something I didn't expect. "They told me not to tell you." Part 3. The silence of adults. My stomach dropped. "Who told you that?" She didn't answer. Instead, she hugged me tightly, like she was afraid I'd disappear again. I stood up and walked into the living room. My family was there, calm, too calm. "Why is my daughter crying?" I asked. No one answered. My mother avoided my eyes. My sister stared at her phone. "What did you say to her?" Finally, someone said it. "You worry too much. She's just sensitive." I knew then, they were lying. Part 4. What they told my child. I waited until everyone else went to bed. The house was dark, quiet again. I sat beside my daughter and brushed her hair back. "You're not in trouble," I whispered. "You can tell me anything." She hesitated, then she said it. "They said if I told you, you'd be mad and leave." My chest tightened. "Who said that?" "Everyone," she said. "They said I cry too much. They said you're busy now. They said I should be quiet, so you don't get stressed." Part 5. The confrontation. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I called everyone into the living room. "We need to talk," I said. They looked confused, defensive. "Why did you tell my child I would leave her?" Silence. Then excuses. "You work too much. She cries over nothing. We were just trying to help." I slammed my hand on the table. "You scared my child into silence. That's not help. That's control." My mother finally spoke. "We didn't think it mattered." I looked at my daughter. "It mattered to her," I said. Part 6. The decision. That was the moment something broke. Not anger, clarity. I realized my child wasn't crying because I was late. She was crying because she felt unsafe speaking. I packed our bags that night. "Where are we going?" she asked. "Somewhere you never have to be quiet to be loved." She smiled for the first time in days. I didn't cut them off immediately. But I drew boundaries they hated. And I chose my child, every time. Part 7. The backlash. The messages started the next day. "You're overreacting. You're tearing this family apart. She's too young to remember any of this." I stared at my phone, shaking. Because my daughter remembered. She flinched when voices got loud. She whispered instead of speaking. "Why are you being so quiet?" I asked one night. She said, "So no one gets mad." That sentence shattered me. I blocked numbers. I ignored guilt trips. And I started therapy, for both of us. Part 8. What silence really does. The therapist said something I'll never forget. Children don't need perfect adults. They need adults who listen. I thought about that night I came home late. How I blamed myself. But it wasn't my lateness that hurt her. It was being told her feelings were inconvenient. It was being taught to disappear quietly. We worked through it, slowly. She learned to speak up again. I learned to protect louder. Part 9. The truth I wish I knew sooner. I used to think being late made me a bad parent. Now I know the truth. A child doesn't cry because of minutes on a clock. They cry when they don't feel safe being honest. If your child goes quiet instead of loud, listen. Silence is not peace. Sometimes, it's fear. And I will never confuse the two again. Outro. If this story moved you, you're not alone. These are real stories about real lives. If you want more powerful, emotional Reddit stories, subscribe to Spoken by Reddit. New long-form stories every week. Thank you for listening.